we would love to, we're hoping to license and work with other companies who have the expertise, who have the funding, that could take this in other indications, especially melanoma and potentially even others such as prostate. So we're very open and we're encouraging others to come join us with this new technology in other cancer areas.
BioNeex is the first biopharma R&D open exchange platform for licensing and co-development partnerships of drug candidates. We are working closely with biopharmaceutical companies that are actively seeking preclinical and clinical stage drug candidates for in-licensing and co-development partnerships to expand their R&D pipelines. If you are a development stage biotech company and are looking for licensing and co-development partners for your drug candidates, then list them for free on BioNeex and get contacted directly by these biopharmaceutical companies. We are already working with many partners. Would you like to learn more about BioNeex? Feel free to get in touch with us. We look forward to working with you.
Hello everyone, today we are back with BioNeex interview. Our guest today is the founder and chief scientific officer of OX2 Therapeutics, Dr. Michael Olin. Hello, Dr. Olin.
Hello, how are you?
Thank you very much. It's great to having you today. OX2 Therapeutics is a clinical stage biopharmaceutical company developing new therapies in oncology.
Correct.
Please tell us about your company a little bit more and what makes this development stage biotech company so unique.
Okay, so as the world is advancing cures in cancer, immunotherapy in cancer, it's known that these immune checkpoint inhibitors have significantly enhanced survival in multiple tumors. However, this is in selected tumors only. Now, although they are better than not using any of them, current checkpoint inhibitors are made from monoclonal antibodies. And these antibodies passively go through your system and bind to a single immune checkpoint. Now, immune checkpoints are ways of the immune system to monitor or modulate an immune response. So like an airplane, there's multiple backups so they don't fall out of the sky. Well, the immune system has these also, such as the more famously known ones, PD-1, PD-L1, and CTLA-4. Individually, they do not work well. They actually have to be combined, and even then they don't hit 50%. Now again, this is better than not using them at all, except when they start combining them, there's adverse effects. So these have greatly advanced the understanding of immune cancer interactions and significantly enhanced survival. However, they're for specific tumors and a handful of tumors. Now, this company is formed from the University of Minnesota, and all three of the founders are actually working there in the Department of Pediatrics. And we're most interested in CNS tumors, specifically in pediatrics, because brain tumors are now the #1 cause of cancer-related deaths in children. And checkpoint inhibitors have failed in CNS tumors for multiple reasons. But we took a step back and asked what we can do to advance this. And we discovered that there's a receptor, an activation receptor, that actually controls, it downregulates or inhibits the upregulation of not only the current PD-1, PD-L1, and CTL checkpoints, but another major immune checkpoint called the CD200. And this is important because the inhibitory CD200 protein is not only expressed in tumors like PD-L1, but like PD-L1, it's solubilized. It'll go into the draining lymph nodes, the area where you elicit an anti-tumor response, shutting down the immune system. However, unlike PD-L1, CD200 is expressed around the tumors. It creates a virtual immunological barricade on vascular endothelial cells, creating an immunological barricade protecting the tumor. So we took a step back and we developed a peptide to bind this activation receptor that, unlike monoclonal antibodies, this actually activates or actively activates the immune system. It upregulates the machinery needed to elicit an anti-tumor response, such as CD80, 86, the productions of what's called chemokines and cytokines, differentiating in cells, especially those cells responsible for presenting the antigen, the thing that tells the T cells what to go get, into the correct form to do its job. And all this will enhance an anti-tumor response while simultaneously it eliminates through the downregulation or inhibiting the upregulation of CD200 inhibitory receptor, PD-1, PD-L1, and the CTLA4. Therefore, we can use a single peptide checkpoint inhibitor. We've tested this inhibitor in murine models. We have an ongoing clinical trial for dogs. These dogs are pet owned. They're spontaneous developing tumors just like anyone else. And we've had them actually fly in as far away from London to the University of Minnesota for these treatments. And we're showing high success rate, over 2-year, 23% survival. And it's actually, we have ongoing trials now, so we're hoping to enhance that. But it's a big success for CNS tumors. Moreover, we're currently in a human phase 1 trial, and although it's early, we have demonstrated some efficacy, but importantly, in the murine, the dogs, and so far in the humans, we haven't showed signs of toxicity, other than what we showed is our responses or neuroinflammation, which is good because you want this inflammation to go up and potentially remove the tumor.
Yeah, you give a quite good understanding about the company and more specifically about the mechanism of your technology, how it works, how it interacts with human body and the receptors. And it sounds like quite unique, as we know about also the press releases that came recently about OX2 Therapeutics. And then you briefly mentioned that you are focused mainly on a CNS, central nervous system area. And can you tell us a little bit more about current drug development pipeline, about these clinical trials? What is this asset? What is this drug candidate? And what you want to achieve with this clinical trial?
So, as I said, we're testing our what we call first generation peptide in this clinical trial. We're enrolling up to 18 adults. We're doing a dose escalation. And as soon as we find the dose that we're comfortable with, we're going to start enrolling up to 18 pediatrics. However, modeling has led to an optimized version, which on the bench is demonstrating even greater activity than the current one. So we'd like to test this in another phase 1 clinical trial, and we're right now talking with the Mayo Clinic to partner with us on that. However, we have other sequences that we're exploring that's demonstrating equal activity. So we actually have a lot of work to optimize and figure out the right drug to use, like any other drug. You start with A and then you probably end up in Z when you finish with the optimized ones. But they're all showing great activity. They're all showing potential. So we're pretty optimistic that this will significantly enhance immunotherapy.
And more specifically, which indications you would like to focus in the future? Like, is it only solid tumors, and which
Right.
organ
No,
systems?
correct. And like other immune checkpoints, this isn't specific for a tumor. We're tackling CNS tumors, but CNS tumors are what are called cold tumors. So what we have to do is we use a tumor lysate vaccine, although we could use peptides or other vaccines to give the antigen the way that the cell knows what to go in and attack. Now, in the case of others like bladder, we showed, and actually a colleague of ours showed that the use of this peptide alone eradicated 100% in vivo in the murine, and that was just preliminary studies, just one try. 100% of the tumors disappeared. We showed melanoma efficacy, and we've have great data, which we've published in breast tumors, where in both breast tumors and now we found out in gliomas that once the tumors go away, we can challenge the mice all we want and the tumors will never take. So we've shown in other indications, melanoma, bladder, breast so far, as well as multiple gliomas, CNS tumors, that this peptide is working real well. We've actually given the peptide to a colleague of mine, Maria Castro, who's the leader in the field. And she showed that in combination with her gene therapy, we actually got 100% survival, which significantly was enhanced over her gene therapy plus PD-L1 or her gene therapy plus CTLA-4.
Yeah, that's very interesting to hear. And moving forward, I would like to ask you, is there currently like a persuasion down the road, licensing or co-development partnerships for the company? As you know, the companies now started the phase 1 clinical trial. There might be a certain area that you pursue partnerships with mid-size or other large pharma companies. Can you tell us a little bit about this more, and who would be your ideal partner in this case?
We're actually really excited about that. We've recently, or we're negotiating right now, we're starting a licensing with a company that wants to focus on canine oncology. So we're going to work really hard with her on the development and optimizing these for brain tumors especially, but other indications, melanoma, et cetera, in dogs, which is exciting because there's virtually nothing out there for these animals. As for humans, we focus on brain tumors, but we do have some expertise in others. So we're starting to look at these indications, especially bladder, melanoma, and breast. However, we're hoping to license and work with other companies who have the expertise, who have the funding, that could take this in other indications, especially melanoma and potentially even others such as prostate. So we're very open and we're encouraging others to come join us with this new technology in other cancer areas.
It sounds very interesting because I want to mention to our audience that your drug candidate is currently listed on BioNeex, and that gives additional exposure to the company and to the drug candidate to find partners, licensing and co-development partners. And I also want to encourage one of our drug candidate seekers on the platform, which is one of the largest dermatology pharmaceutical company, worldwide in Europe. So to take a look at, because as you said, Dr. Olin, you would be interested in melanoma, to have a partnership to develop, to license out. So I think it's a great opportunity.
Correct.
So going to the next question, I would like to ask about the next milestones, as we discussed about partnership, but is there any like major milestone that currently the leadership team is leading the company towards that to reach?
So our milestone right now, obviously, is to get this to the clinic. And one way of doing that is to successfully pass this phase 1. We've gone through our first dose on a dose escalation, and we're moving to our second. So we're optimistic that we're going to succeed in our phase 1. Again, we've showing good efficacy signs. We're monitoring the immune system from all these patients, and we're showing a significant downregulation of all these inhibitory molecules and upregulation of natural killer cells, natural killer T cells, CD4 cells. So that in combination with what we're seeing in MRI or our neuroinflammation, which is needed for these immune checkpoints to work, we're optimistic that this is going to be a real good fit or potentially a real good use for immunotherapy. So our milestones are to finish and show safety in pediatrics, and then move to some kind of collaboration. And we're very happy to partner, if not totally licensed, or for the development of a phase 2 trial. And the second milestone that we're really focusing now is on getting the data needed and potentially a license for melanoma and other indications. So now we're really focusing on expanding and getting this into the clinic.
Very good. We hope very much to support on you on that finding partners. And again, we will encourage our other drug candidate seekers on the platform to take a look at your listed drug candidate and perhaps get in touch directly with you and take from that further. But as you said, you are right now trying to accomplish your started clinical trial. That's the most biggest milestone for the next time. And knowing that the clinical trials are quite expensive nowadays, I want to ask you about current funding situation of the company, and for the next round, what are you looking for? Can you a little bit give understanding to potential investors about it?
Well, yes, and this could go in multiple directions. Right now, we're doing good. We did a Series A, and we quickly obtained a few $1 million. We have enough to go through all the adult trials. We've been blessed with people like the Randy Shaver Cancer Foundation, Children's Cancer Research Foundation, Humor to Fight Your Tumor. Local foundations are philanthropic people who have been extremely generous with us to help support the development and the clinical trial. So we have to really thank these people. We wouldn't be here without them. So the next step is, depending if we can get a license that can help financially, or a small Series B. We're not looking for $40–50 million. We're just looking for enough to take us to the next step.
I see, something like up to 10 million. What
Yeah,
you would, yeah. Very
potential.
good. Yeah, it's good that the companies, through these generous investors and people who
Yes.
care about the cancer, really funded well, so you can complete at least the phase 1. Yeah, and hopefully the phase 2 will be with a licensing or co-development partnerships with a company who has expertise perhaps in these areas. And overall, like, can you give us a little bit more about long-term vision of the company? What you would like to, present as a vision?
So as a vision, my vision and the founder's vision as well, is to see this new technology into the hands of the people who need it the most, especially children, pediatrics. We're out for a cure. We are. We're out for an advancement. So our vision is to see the company build and potentially even just go to the people that have the better expertise than we do, to make this peptide and this inhibitor succeed. So we're open to all kinds of collaborations, but our vision is not necessarily to build a new biotech, is to make sure that this drug succeeds in a rapid, form. So it's not 10 years down the line and we can hopefully cure cancer or
Very
help those
good.
who need it.
It's a very noble vision, I would say, because it's not only in a cancer, it's more like, as you said, more pediatric area where there is only a few potential drugs on the market can help children to save, and more specifically in a brain cancer area. Yeah, we all hope that OX Therapeutics can reach to its next milestone soon, and we hope you, as one of the leaderships and founders members in the company, can bring the company through that vision. Dr. Olin, is there anything else that you would like to add to our because our potential audience, they might be investors, they might be other external stakeholders from pharmas or from different scientific institutions. Would you like to add that I didn't ask you?
No, just we're really happy to entertain anyone out there. Please feel free to contact us at absolutely any time.
Thank you very much, Dr. Olin. I want to remind once again our audience, today is our guest is the founder and chief scientific officer of OX2 Therapeutics, Dr. Michael Olin. And the OX Therapeutics is a clinical stage biopharmaceutical company developing new therapies in oncology. Thank you very much. Stay tuned.
Thank you
Thank you,
so much.
Dr. Olin.
Thank you.